Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus and from Threshold of Hineni in Sweetwater, Tennessee. And I'm coming with a couple more things that I want to do with some of this stuff that we've fussy cut and otherwise. First of all, I want to make a little kind of flip-flop booklet. And I'm kind of making this up as I go. I started it because I just kind of wanted to make sure it was going to work. I have this page that I really like, but the ink didn't work very well there, so I kind of want to cover that. And I think that this would work well. So what I did first was I took the rest of the paper from where I had cut out those pink semicircles for the doily, and I cut it into kind of like a little booklet thing. And because of the way that the design was with those lines there, and I folded it that way, you know, I can't really have this as the front. I mean, I could actually. You know what? I think I will. I can put some lace on the edge. Okay, so forget what I just said about that. But, you know, I thought, well, I could have that here. But I kind of wanted to have more pages because I do write a lot. So I think I'm going to add this also. It's another one of the pages, and I just cut it to the basic shape. I'm going to go ahead and cut, while I have you here, I'm going to cut the edges to show you how I did this. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this back in here again, just to make it easier for now. So what I did, I have it folded when I'm cutting it, and I'm cutting these corners off and cutting across the top. So I'm cutting like this, and I'm just kind of curving along the top like that, and then curving down into my corner. Okay, so it gives me a nice shape for it, and then when you open it up, it's a really nice shape. Okay, and I want to make sure that that stays exactly where it is, and I'm going to, now you don't want to cut along the edge because you've got this part here folded, but we're going to cut a curvy line again like that. Okay, so there we go, and we check and we make sure that none of the white stuff is hanging out there. Let me throw these scraps away. Okay, and then I want to make sure that this part isn't sticking out more on the sides. So I'm going to trim that down. And you can make that kind of curvy too. One of the reasons why I like to cut curvy lines is because I can't cut straight lines. So that way it looks like, you know, it's curvy on purpose, because it is. Okay, so then I'm going to cut this side also, just a little curvy here like that. And if I'm going to put lace on that edge, it's not going to matter that it's curvy. So I could have just cut semi-straight. Okay, then I'm going to close this all up again, and actually, since I am going to make this on the inside, I've got to cut it a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and cut this like this so that it will close up inside of there. All right, so I've got that. Oops, that didn't cut evenly, so let's go back and we'll trim it again. Sometimes you got to do that. And again, it's probably not going to matter because I'm going to sew lace there. Okay, in fact, it probably would have been easier if I'd cut it straight. Okay, well, all right, so we've got that. Okay, so I want to put some lace. I was going to put it on the bottom, but now I want to put it on the side, so that piece isn't the right size anymore. So let's get this. And I want to put some lace right on the side here like this, because I think that'll be really pretty. Don't you think? Okay, and these are the orchids. At least I think that's what they are, orchids. Somebody can correct me down in the comments and let me know, because I do not know flowers that well. I like flowers. I love flowers. But I just can't tell you all the names of them. Okay, so I'm only sewing it on the front of the pink one. So I'm going to take the green one out for now. And I'm going to set it aside with this so I have room for my sewing machine. Oh, and actually I want to distress this first. So I have this pink distress ink. I actually thought it was going to be a nice big one like my other one. I didn't read the description very well. That's okay, the small one's fine. And I'm using a paint sponge for it, and I'm just going to distress around the edges. Since we've got pink going on here, I just thought that the pink would be pretty around the edges, and that way you can see too how it looks to distress with other colors. I have some blue also that, you know, it wouldn't look good in this particular journal, but in another journal that I'm working on, it's really cool. I've got actually several journals that have a lot of blue in them that I'm working on. I'm working about, I don't know, 12 or 13 journals at a time right now. It's kind of fun that way. And the blue just brings out the blues in things. It just looks really nice. So I do really like that. Okay. So, and see how it makes that stand out. It'll make it stand out against the page a lot better too. It'll be really pretty. Then I have to decide on the inside. I don't want it to be stark white, so do I want to use some of this pink inside, or do I want to use my vintage photo? And I think I'm going to stick with vintage photo. So yesterday I was telling you about the house that we bought up in the mountains. So we were living in Maryland at the time that we bought it, and you know, coming down here every once in a while. You know, and basically before we can really move up there, because like the bathrooms don't work, there's no showers. Well, there's a shower in one, I guess, and there's not in the other, and there's toilets, and there's one sink. Actually, I think there's only one toilet, and there's one sink. And anyway, so there was supposed to be a septic tank. Well, we found out that there wasn't. So that's another thing that we have to do. So anyway, so about a year ago, in fact, almost exactly a year ago, we made a deal on this house that we're living on in Sweetwater. And so we moved all of our stuff up there, getting ready to move up there. And have work done while we were living there. So like we were going to cook outside because there's no kitchen yet. We were going to cook outside. You know, it was Memorial Day weekend, so you know, we had a few months ahead of us that would be nice enough for cooking outside. And we bought one of those bags that you fill with water and then you put it out in the sunshine to heat the water up, and you take your shower using that. That was going to be fun. And anyway, so that's how we were gonna do it, and we were all ready to move up there. We had moved all of our stuff up there, and the deal fell through on this house. So all of our stuff is up there. We're sleeping on a really old, very, very uncomfortable mattress. We didn't have a refrigerator for about 3 weeks before we finally gave in and bought one of those little dormitory refrigerators, and that's what we've been using for a year, and probably will be a while longer. So we don't have this house up for sale right now. We decided that we need to sell Bill's house in Still Pond, Maryland first, so that we have the money to fix up the house up in the mountains, and then we can sell this house. Okay, so there's the lace on the edge. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, I think that looks really pretty, don't you? I think that's nice. Okay, so then let's distress this before we forget about it. So anyway, so yeah, so in the process of when we thought we were moving, we went and got, at Home Depot they have designers, and it doesn't cost anything to design your kitchen. I mean, you know, you've got to buy your stuff for the kitchen from them. And we had lined up a contractor through them, which you don't have to get a contractor through them. We had lined up a contractor through them, and he came and, you know, gave us the estimate and all that stuff, so we were all ready to go. But then, like I said, the deal fell through on this house, so we didn't move up there. And so we just go up there, and some of our mail comes up there because we had already forwarded stuff, and we decided to leave that leave that stuff coming up there because I don't know, it just makes us go up there every week at least to check mail and stuff. And you know, it's one of those things that it's like you really do want to go up there because it's just gorgeous and so relaxing and everything, but it takes an hour to get up there. So if you didn't have something like, well, we've got to get the mail because there's bills in it, then, you know, we might not go up because, you know, you just get kind of lazy and complacent and everything. And I think that it's really important that you occupy a house, keep the critters out and stuff. So, you know, so going up there about once a week. Bill's been going up. I haven't gone up as much, although since he's had these mini strokes, I don't feel comfortable with him going up by himself anymore, so I'll be going up a lot more. Okay, so I wanted to just stress the inside folds. But so we went up yesterday, and our washer and dryer are up there. We can't use the washer, but the dryer we can use, and that worked out really nicely in the winter when Bill was up there using his knitting machines. It was freezing cold, but if he turned on the dryer to dry some clothes, it warmed up the garage where he works. So anyway, so Bill, while I was teaching my little kiddos, he went to the laundromat and washed our clothes and then dried them while we were up at the house. And I sat out on one of the porches and worked on a course that I'm creating about Abraham, which was just so nice, sitting there with my Bible and my notebook and just being able to sit and read and pray and write, and it was just so cool. So anyway, so we were up there for a few hours, and the roses, the wild roses, are just going nuts. They've just overflowed all over the place. And I'll try to remember to link to I have a photo album on Facebook that I'm doing like one picture a day, and I should put the picture of the roses up there, and I'll try to remember to link to it. And then, you know, there were azaleas. Oh my word, the wild azaleas. There are these orange azaleas that were blooming a couple weeks ago. And they bloomed for about a month. They were really nice. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, and let me get the inside of this one too. So there were the azaleas, and then there's mountain laurels, which are like, what do you call them? Starts with an R. Not ranunculus. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm so bad. It'll come to me. They have tons of them in Oregon, and in Portland they have a festival for them. It's like the word is on the tip of my tongue and I can't quite come up with it. Rhododendrons. They look like rhododendrons, but we found out that they're mountain laurels, and they're probably related to rhododendrons. And they're huge. They're trees, and they bloom just like rhododendrons. And so those are so gorgeous, and they'll be blooming in June, probably about the time that this video posts, because I'm doing this actually in May, right after Memorial Day. So yeah, so anyway, it's so pretty up there, and we keep bees. We don't have any right now. We still have a hive, but we're gonna have to either get bees, or I think if we just set our hive up, you know, they will come kind of thing, because, you know, bees are always looking for a great place to have a hive, and if you've got one set up for them, hey, why not? But there's just all kinds of goodies up there for bees. It's just wonderful. And then we're going to plant some fruit trees and stuff for them. When we had our bees in Maryland, our neighbors would come to us and tell us that their garden had never been so productive until we had the bees. Bees are just amazing, and they're very helpful. And, you know, if you live in a city or something and you're interested in having bees, check with your city, because it's probably okay. It's actually better in some ways to have bees in the city than out in the country, because out in the country where you've got farms and stuff, people are spraying all kinds of pesticides and stuff, and that's just going to kill your bees. And probably not be good in the honey either. But in the city, you don't have so much of that. And some hotels have started having bees on their roof. They'll have somebody come and keep bees up there. And, you know, that way any gardening or landscaping that they have stays really nice. And the bees go for, you know, like about 3 miles away, or maybe 6, I can't remember. Anyway, not terribly far, but farther than you might think. And so all your neighbors would probably be really, really grateful and thrilled if you had bees. Okay, so that's all ready. We've got all those done. So what I want to do is kind of like a Dear Julie flip-flop. So I've got to think about this, about exactly how I need to do that. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I want to bend it right here. I'm not going to distress that part. We're just going to bend it slightly, because this will pretty much be flat in the book. Okay. So where we're going to put it, scraps, where we're going to put it is right, and I'm going to take this page out. I think that'll just make it easier. Get rid of that scrap. Okay. It's starting to thicken up, you guys. You start out with a really thin little thing and you think, well, this isn't going to be much. And then you end up with this huge, thick journal. I should show you my Abraham journal. Okay, so I think where I want it is, wait, how did I do that? Yeah, okay, like this. Okay, so let me fold this so that we're going to see it just the way that we would see the page. I want it to cover up this place where the ink's not very good. See how nicely that contrasts? I think that's really pretty, don't you? Okay, and then I might still put a verse here or something. I'm not sure. I might just leave it to write on. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to glue this right here where I folded it. Let me kind of see how it's flat there. That's where I'm going to glue it. And I have my new bottle of glue that I opened up on the last video. So nice to have new glue, yay! Run my nozzle through the glue so that it's flat. Okay. I want to make sure that this is covering up that part that I want to cover. There we go. Okay, and then I'll get one of my little cosmetic pads to wipe up the glue. See how some seeps out here on the side. I don't want that there because that'll stick to the next page. Okay, and I want to flatten this. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here where it's folded and flatten that. Okay, now I folded both of these at the same time because I want this to fit inside there. So I'm going to glue that, and I could have zigzagged that part before gluing any of this on. That's what I did in my mom's journal when I made a bunch of these Dear Julie flip-flops, and that worked really, really well. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that's, oops, situated right. There we go. That's how we want it. And so we'll press this down, and then I'm going to flip open this page. See, and it's like I've made a little booklet inside here. And I could add as many of these as I want and have, like, you know, a whole bunch of pages. So on this page, that means that I've got, I can write here on this if I want. I can write on here. I can write on here. I can write on all of this, either 3 different pages or make it go all the way across. And then I can write here and here, and I can write here and here. So that's, you know, I just added a ton of extra writing space to my journal by doing that. Okay, and like I said, we'll probably do a little bit more to decorate it. I don't want to cover up the orchids, but I'll at least put a verse here, or maybe even just over here. I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, so that's one thing done. What's our timing like? Oh, we're getting there. Okay, so I guess that's, wait a second. Oh yeah, that's right. This folds the other way. Okay. I was like, what? Okay, so when we're turning through the journal, okay, we see a really pretty pocket, which I still need to teach you guys how to make. And then we turn, on the other side of that is this. We've got that nice little thing. And then we've got this nice thing to journal on as well. Okay, so there was something, oh, I know, I was going to do a belly band, but I think we are too close on time. Well, what time? What do we have? Yeah, it's been too much. Okay, so we're going to stop here, and I'll do the belly band in the next video. Okay, I love y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.